So did you guys talk about how the Chocobo theme just kind of feels like it starts but never gets going?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
So, oh my gosh.
I don't know if we mentioned it, so we should open with it.
So yeah, we didn't mention that it doesn't have that turnaround.
I don't think we mentioned it in detail though, so we can definitely talk about it.
Yeah,
it sounds like a ringtone. Speaking of Theorhythm, yeah, it was like it's amazing they put the original Chocobo theme in that game because it's just like it's stuck on the loop.
Oh,
wow! I didn't realize that
they put the short loop in Theatrhythm.
There's B. Have you played Theorhythm, the new one?
Yep.
Yeah, I think they have Final Fantasy 2 as its own like series, and like it's all the pixel, like most of it is like the original versions.
Yep.
Oh wow!
So it just has like the extreme, like just listening for like 2 minutes straight, just the Chocobo like first 2 bars looping.
I bought that game when it very first came out, but all my friends were playing it. Like I'd get on Switch and have like 30 friends online, all of them playing Final Fantasy Theatrhythm, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta get this game!" So I bought it immediately, and I still have not turned it on.
Yeah.
So you'll get addicted to it for like a week, probably.
Really?
I've been trying to find a way to like find a fight stick with 2 joysticks on it because I really want to be able to like actually hit something.
Yeah.
Because playing rhythm games on my thumb just feels like I'm getting carpal tunnel all the time, or like it just doesn't feel like I should be playing a rhythm game with like a pro Switch controller.
If you ever find a cabinet for it, it's super fun.
Yeah.
Like at round 1, they have them. So every now and then they have them. They usually have like the free play, so you can just do 3 songs for like 1 swipe of your card, and it's like 5 credits, which is like 5 credits less than everything else there.
Carl just plays the extreme 3 times, so he's on the machine for like 20 minutes.
There's so many fucking versions of like Man with a Machine Gun in there, because they have like not just like, okay, now you're playing FF8, now you're playing Record Keeper, which also has versions of the 8 songs, and then now you're playing like a medley version, or now you're playing like there's a series one. I know they put Nier and like Chrono Trigger and shit.
Yeah,
they put
so
Adventure.
The Chrono Pack comes out, I think, in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Oh, nice.
They have a bunch.
There's like an absurd amount of music.
Oh yeah.
I want it to come to PC so people can like put their own songs and maybe make their own control schemes for it.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
Play with the Guitar Hero controller or Donkey Konga version.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. I never even considered it.
You know what else I wish I could play with the Donkey Konga pads? Final Fantasy 2 for the Famicom.
I feel like it wouldn't be that hard because there's literally just like...
There's 2 buttons on an NES controller.
2 buttons, yeah.
I just couldn't think of a segue to get us into the fact that this is the Every FNFF podcast.
better than I could have come up with. I was also trying to think of one. I'm like, I got nothing this week.
I was waiting for an opportunity, and I was like, I'm just not talented enough. I just haven't I didn't complete podcast school. I dropped out in the last year and never got my degree in podcasting.
You know who else is bad at segues? The Every FNFF podcast.
Yeah, that's
right. Curtis, when you were saying you dropped out of podcast school, I was like, yeah, dude, every battle that I get into since the start of this season, I've been trying to level up my podcast proficiency by casting podcast in battle.
Yeah, you have to use a whole 10% of your podcast, though, to get
I'm only at like level
up.
3, and I've been doing this shit for how many years now? I don't want to think of how many years this has been going on, but more importantly than anything we have to say, we have a very special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name's B. I go by Eyesonbee. I stream on Twitch sometimes. It's been very infrequent because life, but I've played every single Final Fantasy game, and I actually am one of the rare few who don't hate Final Fantasy 2.
Nice.
I don't know.
A rare breed, indeed.
I get why people don't like it. I really understand it, but I did a playthrough of the Pixel remaster, which definitely fixes a lot of issues. But I mean, the GBA version's really good too, in my opinion. Everybody who poops on it, I just don't get it, because I feel like a lot of the same issues exist in 1 and 3 when you play them, and I don't know, it's a fine game.
I've really been enjoying it. Yeah, I am also a non-hater of Final Fantasy 2. I am a defender.
It's a good story. Like,
it's a really good story.
NES. That's what I always say to people. I'm like, that's an NES game, and I feel like if they remade FF2 in like modern era, obviously they'd have to cut a lot of the back and forth because that's one of the things I don't like is how much you have to like go back to Altair. That's like when in doubt, go back to Altair and talk to somebody.
Speaking of the first thing we're doing today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we mentioned you, I think, a last episode because of this lady in Joseph's house.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't understand her. What is she?
Who is this lady? Why are we just giving her kids?
Like originally she's just standing outside and she's like thinking about Joseph. She says something like that hints that she has feelings for him, and then once he gets stoned, essentially, then she goes inside and she's like, okay, I guess I'm taking care of Nellie. And I'm like, I hope that's not the mom.
She's just pressed up against like Joseph's window and she has the Sickos shirt on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, at least Nellie?
Nellie, Molly, whatever version you're playing. I think it's Nellie in most of the versions I've played, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But at least she's safe and has some sort of parent figure now.
Perhaps she's safe. We literally know nothing about this guardian that she has, and later on in this game there will be reason to doubt people based on their appearance. But before we go to Altair, we can actually, I think in the Pixel remaster, I didn't try this in the NES version because walking around in the NES version is a nightmare. But we can go around to some of the other towns and we see that they're very battle damaged. A lot of them. And we get some dialogue like from someone in, I think, Paloom that says, this is horrible. They're saying the Empire captured Princess Hilda, airship and all. You have to go back to Altair and tell the rebels what happened. So obviously pointing you in that direction. And I think my first thing was like, okay, well, I need to get back to Altair. What's the fastest way to do that? I'm going to go to the airship. And I went to the bar and it was completely empty. And I'm like, wait, yeah, obviously I wouldn't be able to do that.
Oh yeah, because it got nabbed in the previous cutscene. Forgot about that. We have a canoe at least.
Yeah, there's a pirate in one of the towns that says they be saying the empires
they do be saying
captured the princess and Sid's airship, lock, stock, and barrel. One of the pirates says maybe I ought to join the Imperial Army while there's still time. Which, like, dude, don't be a class traitor just because. Come on, dude.
But yeah, so we can take the boat back to Altair, and Altair also doesn't have anybody outside. I think if we're playing the Famicom version, we can use our 1987 imagination to believe that it's all bombed out and destroyed. But yeah, no one's outside. Everybody's holed up in the hideout, in the super discreet hideout that is just like right across the street from like the inn or whatever. The largest mansion in town.
Yeah, the biggest house in the town did not get hit, and luckily all the rebels are still safe.
And I do like it's cool because like the hideout has constantly changing dialogue depending on like what portion of the game you're in, which I think is awesome. I love that like it's contextual.
There's that one guy in the throne room who's kind of an ass to you.
Yeah, I love this. What a dick. I'm just reading it like George Costan's like, well, the princess was captured, and of course it's all your fault too.
Yeah, I know. There's a person in here who tells us that like literally Hilda was on the airship so that they could come to Kashan and see us. They were like on their way to see us. And that's like why we saw them above, like right above us and being captured by the Dreadnought. So like, oh, what terrible timing.
Nobody else. Oh, you also said you blow up the Dreadnought. You couldn't blow your way out of a cloth sack.
Fucked up. It's fucked up.
There is the dude who's got, I guess he's like sort of like a red mage. He's got like the cool hat and stuff, just kind of wandering around the throne room. And he says, I've just received word that the Dreadnought is headed somewhere north of Fynn. Yeah. And that is the line that really prompted me to message you guys, like when I was first playing through this, as I've got some bones to pick with this game.
Oh, I think I know what you might be saying.
Because in the NES version, this makes total sense. Okay, I need to go north of Fynn. How do I get there? Okay, I just go... there's nothing I can get to in the north of Fynn because of the mountain range. I have to just kind of go northwest. And eventually that kind of loops around, and we are on a globe, which you can see on the NES version if you hold like the B button and select or whatever. But if you're on the Pixel remake and you're looking at the world map, the area that the Dreadnought landed in is comfortably like in the southmost point of the world and of the map. So I was like, so it's north of Finn, which, I mean, it technically is north of Finn, but it is in the south of the map. Like, that's like saying like, oh, the South Pole is north. You got to go north.
Like, oh yeah, you know, Russia, it's just north of Canada.
Yeah. So
right.
So I spent a large majority of my time in this section on the Pixel remaster, just wandering around aimlessly, like grabbing the chocobo, going all over the world, trying to find stuff, getting into battles that I had no right being in because I was in I was like, oh, cool. There's a Coliseum here near a desert, and I like walked out in the desert and got into a battle with like 5 very scary looking monsters that immediately killed me, and I was just like, oh, I shouldn't be here.
So I thought that's what you were gonna say, because like I walked north from Finn, and buddy, did I run into some fucking enemies.
Oh yeah.
Like I just got annihilated by these enemies. Like everything out there was just like I couldn't touch it. I'd do no damage to it. If I criticaled, I'd do like 3 damage or something, and then like it would just do 500 damage to me at once. It's like, oh,
there's like weird birds and dual heads.
Yeah, the dual head's a really cool enemy type too. It's like the buff guy.
They look like fishy genies.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like the tough fish from SpongeBob that like eat bowls of nails for breakfast without any milk.
Salty spittoon.
He's not gonna let you into the salty spittoon or the Dreadnought.
Those bird enemies I also want to talk on, because by the time I finally got to this area, like to find the Dreadnought in Pixel Remaster, I had walked around so much that I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just getting a chocobo and I'm going to find my way. And I finally found it. So I didn't get into any encounters in the Pixel Remaster. And that bird is a very specific enemy that at a certain point in the game just does not appear anymore. And in order to get the platinum trophy or like all achievements or whatever, you need to encounter every enemy and get a full bestiary, which I could not do by the time I realized that. I only have 2 like achievements left to get, which is complete the bestiary, and then you have the trophy that shows you did it all.
Yeah. I did that recently with FF3, where I was playing it on stream. I was like, all right, going for the platinum, and I forgot one enemy in Castle Hine, which doesn't exist at the end of the game. So I was like, oh my god, I have to play through half the fucking game again to get this one enemy.
That was a good way for me to be like, well, I'm not going to platinum this then. Maybe someday down the road, but...
Yeah.
Add it to the deck.
Yeah.
Talking about Carl's little activity deck he has for his streams.
Oh yeah, let's add all achievements on Final Fantasy games to one of the card draws I do. Oof.
So then what happens?
And then what happened?
I guess we have to talk to the king, right? And maybe he tells us about...
He tells us that Hilda was on her way to thank us on the airship. That's why she was there. And
so
also,
the princess felt bad. This is what Minwoo says. The princess felt badly about always sending you out on such dangerous assignments. So she like wanted to take the airship to meet you there. It's like... Now we have to go on like arguably one of the most dangerous assignments, and it's made even more dangerous.
Well, I appreciate that Hilda is an NPC that gets a lot of characterization, which is like the first character in a Final Fantasy game. Because like FF1, nobody had the amount of like back and forth or speech that Hilda has in this game. So I was like, oh wow, she's the first important character in an NES RPG like this.
Yeah, and it's a nice sentiment, and it's
that's right. I said an NES RPG, not just Final Fantasy. Bring it on. Come at me, everybody else.
Okie dokie.
Mother One heads out here fuming. Actually, I don't know when that game came out.
All right, so yeah, we're after the Dreadnought, right? Which is actually in the southwest of the entire ass map. But to get there, we have to go northwest. Wait, hold on. Looking at the map, we technically could have walked there from Kashan's Keep.
Yeah, so...
You could.
You could have gone south from there.
I was going to say, I actually ended up doing that because I couldn't get past those fucking random encounters that were on the way to the Dreadnought. I was like, I keep dying. What is happening? So I actually went all the way back to Kashan, got a chocobo, and then just ran down to it.
That seems like it makes more sense, but it would have taken a while to get back. It would have been annoying to go back to Kashan. They just like, let's not make them backtrack this time.
It's funny on the Pixel remake, the first way I played this game. I didn't really have too much of an issue in the Dreadnought. I might have been like over leveled, or just the quality of life improvements made it a little less rough. But I'm also seeing that outside of the Dreadnought, I have a screenshot of me in a cottage right before going into the Dreadnought. And I'm like, oh, that actually explains a lot, because on the NES version, I had to do a lot of dipping in and dipping out because it is rough in there
inside the Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So we find the Dreadnought, and it's like just hanging out in like a bay, kind of like a weird it's hard to just say what it is, but it's just like a structure that's holding it.
There is an NPC in Altair who says that it is parked at a refueling station, or like a supply depot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like airbase.
Yeah. And like I think the king says too, he's like, our one chance for getting to the Dreadnought is that it can't stay in the air forever. It will have to refuel at some point. It's got to get more of that. It's got to get more sunfire, I guess.
Oversized.
Yeah, but not too much.
Yeah, but not too much. Don't want to get too hot.
they parked at the like fueling station, and they were like, okay, well, we want to stay in the air for a while because we got a lot more cities to completely level. Let's just like fill it up. Like, okay, the pump stopped, the sun fuel pump stopped. We're gonna just like hold it down for another
just
5 or 10 seconds.
Times.
Give us a little extra on this trip.
That's right.
Sunfire prices are only going up. Thanks, Emperor. Like, we gotta use all we can.
They stop in New Jersey. They're not allowed to pump their own Sunfire.
I think this is the first dungeon too that you can't revisit because of plot reasons.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that might make sense.
Oh yeah, so this is another area where you really need to like fill out your bestiary. I think there's like, and also some items maybe that are missable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I think there's also, and I can't remember for sure what happens, but there was mention before, I think we talked about it like many episodes ago, where someone was like, to get on the Dreadnought, you need a pass. And I think we got the pass from somewhere. Like we already have that.
Yeah, we got it when we went into the Bafsk sewers and we saw Borgin and the Dark Knight. And then we walked into that side room. And before we left, we grabbed the pass from there.
Yeah, because when we're walking onto the Dreadnought, there's a Black Knight that's just kind of waiting there. I think he's like a captain is his enemy type, and he's blocking the way, and you can just use the item and give him the pass, and he'll just be I think let me see.
He's like, oh, I'm terribly sorry. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, he's like nervous when you show him your pass and stuff.
It's weird that like there's no one else on this ship that is like civilian.
It's like a warship.
I was wondering that. I was like, oh, it's like the Zeppelin in Indiana Jones 3, where if we don't have the pass, he throws us out the window.
No
and
ticket.
He's like, no ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that everyone here is military except for us, which I guess explains that if you talk to anyone, you get in a very almost like unwinnable fight, right?
Yeah.
I assumed that was the case, so I didn't talk to anyone.
I remember thinking when I encountered that, like, went in there, that they would chase me. I don't know why, but that just seemed like the natural. Like, it's just so weird to me that, say you're playing the Pixel Remaster, you turn off your encounters in there, they don't even they don't care.
That's
really
so weird.
You can turn off encounters in the Pixel Remaster?
Yeah.
I mean, the Emperor's approval rating has really been plummeting, especially with how high the Sunfire cost has gotten. So it makes sense that they're like, I'm not fucking, I don't get paid enough for this. I think it's technically a winnable battle. On the NES version, I attempted it a couple of times because I wanted to see if like a similar thing happened in the Pixel Remaster in Finn. You could talk to the soldiers and fight them. And I beat one of those soldiers, and then the battle ends and the soldier is still standing in front of you, so like it doesn't do anything. So I was wondering if you could get past this knight without the pass. And I think it might be possible, but he's got like 750 HP, and the numbers that you're doing to him, even with Maria, I think I had fire 4 and had some pretty decent attacks from Guy and from Furion, and I was doing like no damage to him. So I tried a couple of times and I was like, okay, I'm using the pass. I don't care.
Okay, so like at the second paragraph in on the wiki, it says, after boarding the Dreadnought, the player must get past the guard. The pass item can be presented to get past, or the player can select the Wild Rose key term to engage battle.
Yeah, if you say Wild Rose to them, they know. I love that that's like the secret phrase for the rebels and stuff.
Oh, they actually know?
Yeah, the Emperor, like the Empire knows. They're just like, you say that to them and they just say rebel curs or whatever, and they like attack you.
They didn't say that when we said it in Bafsk. They were like, "What's that?"
Yeah, they've learned. They've gotten pretty good intel.
They're too low on the chain.
Maybe they know it now because I told them that when I was in Bafsk. That was probably a bad call on my part.
Hey guys, the secret word is Wild Rose if you hate the Empire.
It's ACAB.
That's right.
I think also another thing, I don't know if this happens in the beginning of the dungeon, but if you try to use teleport, it does not work. There's a force field that's preventing you from using teleport, which is something that I learned the hard way.
Oh.
There is a force field preventing you from teleport, and once you've gone through the dungeon enough, you cannot get back out of it until you are done.
I also learned that the hard way.
Yeah, me too. So there's a couple things preventing a easy escape in this stage.
So basically our objective in here is to find and rescue the princess and inevitably then blow up the engine with the sunfire.
Right.
I think there's 4 floors on this?
There's kind of like 2 different paths. So there's kind of like 3 floors each path or something, but some of them might be the same.
There's the main floor.
Yeah, there's floor 1 where all the guards and soldiers are kind of walking around who you can engage with. And then on your way to find Hilda, you can run into like a couple like treasure rooms and like a room that has like grating in front of it, like it's a jail cell with treasures in it, and there's like a hidden walkway that you can go through to get back there and get
it's
items.
like you can't get through the gate, so you have to just like walk to the other hallway and just go 1 square right, and then you're in the cell.
I think it's is that the ice shield room?
That is the thief's gloves, I think.
Okay. There's some good treasure in here.
There is. Like, there's a knife that's pretty decent that's in there.
Yeah,
how do you say the name of that knife?
Yes.
Gauche.
I wasn't ever sure how to say that, so that's why I just said knife.
It's time to find out now on the Every FNFF podcast.
I'm never sure how to say anything,
Gosh.
so I'm a bad... Gorsh.
Gorsh.
Yeah, it's Gorsh. It's the Goofy left it there for us.
Okay, so that main gouge, or however you say it, which I'll find out in a second, is another name for a parrying dagger, a category of small handheld weapon from the late Middle Ages that are from France. Oh, it's actually literally just French for left hand.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's really interesting because there's a character we meet soon that is left-handed.
Yes.
How about that?
French pronunciation.
If it's gouache,
Well,
I would be so
the
mad.
paint is the paint is gouache, right?
Oh, I think yeah.
But I think it's GUA for that. Hold on. I'm clicking a video that says how to pronounce it, but it's not loading.
It's still just gauche. Okay.
Isn't that like a...
Mangauche.
Isn't gauche like, that's like unfashionable or something?
Exactly. It's the same spelling.
Wow.
Mangauche.
There's also a giant's helm in here, which is interesting because not only does it like boost up your defense, but it also adds 10 points of attack to you, which is really, really nice. So it's not like the best defense, but it really bumps up your attack.
I'm learning all about this dagger now. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a little while. I'm going to read this Wikipedia article.
One of the items is a dark bow, which I equipped to Maria, and she had like 7 attack, and then I equipped that, and she had 27 attack, and I was like, yes, dude, let's go. I never use the bow with her because she's like my only magic user, but it's nice to have that.
I always like to use her with fists. For some reason, that's like
that's so cool.
I like to build her the opposite.
Oh, cool, yeah.
But Marie?
Yo, this is actually dope as hell, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This dagger, this mangauche, the blade of it is it has like, it's like a what the fuck? What's the weapon that Raphael uses in Turtles?
Oh.
Are those the size?
Yeah. So its blade has like 2 smaller blades on the side, and so you would use it to like instead of like knocking a sword away with your sword, you would use the mangauche to like parry with that, and it would catch their blade in between the little crevice of the like 3 blades on it, so you could then like control where you're putting their sword, so that they can't just like pull it out and swing again, because you can just be like no, and like grab it with yours, and they can't remove their sword now, and then you have like an open attack.
That's really, really cool.
Isn't that neat?
That's I think there's also a parrying dagger in Dark Souls, which I never use, but apparently it's pretty good because you can parry with it.
Just like Batman.
Well, I'm excited to forget how to pronounce that word by the next season that we have this weapon in the game, because this weapon makes an appearance in pretty much every Final Fantasy from now on.
Yeah, so there's the So the main floor, which has the 600 gil in the corner, and it's connected to like 3 monster rooms.
Yeah, it's got 3 of those trap rooms.
Ugh. But one of them leads to, yeah. It was interesting mentioning that item behind a gate, because I got to that one with like the chest behind it. I couldn't get past it, so I was like, well, I guess I have to go find a key.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
So later in the dungeon, there's the same gate keeping Hilda and Sid captive, and I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get them out? I don't have a key yet.
You're like, I need to go and wander and open every chest and go into every room.
But apparently you just interact with the gate.
Yeah,
and
turns out they just don't lock anything.
Except for that one.
Oh, except for that one room. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I was like really confused.
They were like, the princess and Sid, it's fine if they get out. But these thief gloves, no.
The other one, like, it's just a couple of, like, if you go up on the wall a little bit, it's just one of those invisible tiles you can just, like, sneak through.
Right. It's like off the map or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I wish I knew about that. I think the map says it's a sleep blade.
Yes.
That just makes you bleed and sleepy.
Yeah, so the sleep blade is actually pretty cool, and I actually had it helped me out of some bad situations. It will cast sleep on an enemy if you hit it with it. I'm sure there's probably more to that. It might be a random chance or something, but pretty much anytime I used it on an enemy, it's like, enemy fell asleep. I was like, thank God, because these enemies are rough. So when I got to Dreadnought, I needed, like, I had to leave and, like, level up a bit, but my idea was, okay, I can see that, like, the first path that we can take pretty much leads right to the princess and Sid. So what I'll do, I'll go in, I'll rescue them, I'll get out, I'll go back to a town, I'll rest at an inn, and on the NES this takes forever because
oh my God,
if you have the battle speed at like 7 out of 8, it still takes a while for each turn, and there's like several enemies deep, and you're drastically running out of spells and stuff, and it was really rough. And finally did that. I was like, okay, maybe I should go back because I'm way under leveled. I was like, nah, let me rescue the princess first. I went back after doing that, and I tried to go out. At first, I was like, I'm just going to teleport out, and it'll be fine. It'll be great. And couldn't teleport out, went all the way back, fought my way back. I was like on death's door to where I would probably have trouble walking back to the town anyway. And there was just a knight at the bottom of like the exit just waiting there. And he was just like, they say that the princess escaped. And that's like the only thing he says. And you can't get past him, and you just have to like continue on. I was like, well, I'm starting over because there's no way I can do this.
Wow.
Yep. I got to that point, and I was pretty much out of like most items. Like I had like nothing left going, but I was like, well, I RNG spammed my way out of one dungeon. I can do it again. So I luckily got to the end of it.
That's
like
amazing.
I guess we'll talk about it when we get there, but there is one saving grace to this dungeon. Like, there's one mercy that FF2 decides to throw at us in this dungeon, and like, thank God.
At the very end.
Oh my God, yeah. But there's another direction that we can take, which I have to say is pretty awesome. We're going back to Curtis's Famicom graphics corner. Welcome, like, I'm sitting down in like my chair. I got my robe on. I'm smoking a pipe. Welcome back to Curtis's Famicom graphics corner, where we discuss the best graphics on the Famicom. The second or third floor of the other route going to the engine has like a depth of field. What? That's incredible. That's amazing. Like, you can clearly see, I mean, it's not like blurred or anything like that, but you can clearly see that you are above another portion of the dungeon, and that is incredible. Like, you're like walking on like it's like a little U-shaped room that you have to walk around.
Yeah, you can see the little soldiers walking around under there too.
You
right?
can. It's so
really nice.
cool. I was like, wow, like this game's really ambitious.
I feel like the first game, I mean, the oldest game I can think of before I played this was like Zelda on the SNES, because you like maybe see like floors below you or something like that.
Yeah.
But so that's
wow,
impressive.
I can't believe they copied that from FF2.
I know, right? Yeah, that's impressive. And like, it gives you a sense. This is just like people milling around down below.
Yeah, also, it's worth mentioning that the deeper you get into the Dreadnought, the harder the encounters get. Like, you go from fighting like the were rats or whatever, which are pretty annoying because they will just like paralyze your party. And then you're also fighting things that are just casting blind on your party. So like you have to expend a lot of MP if you have Asuna leveled up so that you can like cure it. Because the amount of times I got like blinded or whatever, like I did not have enough like there would be not enough inventory slots for me to even consider bringing eye drops with me.
Yeah.
I played the last half of this dungeon blind because I'm just like, I am not leaving. I'm just gonna test my accuracy.
Yeah.
Speaking of higher leveled enemies or more difficult enemies, have we ever talked about battle rank?
I don't think so. I don't even know if I know what that is.
Yeah, another one of the mysterious, weird things that FF2 has going on under the hood is battle rank. So this game, not FF8, is the first game to scale enemies to your stats, I guess.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and so every encounter and every enemy can have 7 battle ranks. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, every enemy in the game has 7 battle ranks. So if you fight like, what is it called? The leg eater, right? Like you fight the leg eater and you're like, the leg eater, what a clown, pitiful fool. Well, that's only because we've been fighting rank 1 leg eaters. The leg eater levels up as the game goes on and it becomes more difficult. And the enemies get like more stats, new skills, and fighting them causes your proficiencies to grow faster too.
Oh, well, that's really cool.
So this is one way of like blocking you from scaling proficiency too quickly, but then at the end of the game, keeping you from having to like if I'm at the end of the game and I'm like, you know what? I really should have made Furion a spear user instead of a sword user. Well, no problem, because my sword is now going to level up like 7 times faster fighting the same enemies that I've been fighting because their battle rank is now higher.
That's really cool. So, I think it
just reminded me when you said like it gets more difficult as you go up the Dreadnought, and I was like, yes, not only are there different enemies, their battle rank increases.
Yeah, I think this might be the first instance of us finding like a Gigas enemy.
Oh god,
which is like the giant enemy that like it takes up.
Oh,
like,
they were in Castle Kashan.
Oh, were they? Okay, I don't remember.
Oh wait, no, those were the ogres. Never mind. I'm full of shit.
The ogres are like normal size. It's the giants that are like, I didn't even know a monster could be this tall in a game. Like size.
A minor enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I got jumped by one as the Hill Gigas. I think it was like the big room before the engine room. There's like 4 chests in the corner.
The treasure chest, right?
Yep.
So it's very. This was the first instance of them doing a very popular mechanic in Final Fantasy, which is the vending machine in Dirge of Cerberus that you touch, and then a giant enemy jumps out of it.
You got pranked. You got punked. Yeah, inside the vending machine was a barrel. Inside that barrel was like enemy. Inside the enemy was a potion or something.
Yeah,
like that.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just the silliest. But yeah, this Hill Gigas was just eating hits forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's rough. Yeah, luckily I had done a lot of farming to get Maria's MP higher than her HP at this point. So, and I went there. I like by the time I finally was like, it was like my 3rd attempt at taking on this dungeon after like learning everything that I learned. I was like, okay, I'm getting a chocobo and I'm running all the way there so I can have full everything as I get in there. And that finally seemed to help.
Speaking of ranks and stuff, I've been looking for this page for a while. I found the page before we started doing the season of a pretty good walkthrough of all the different game mechanics and game systems. So I just dropped that in the Discord. He's pretty good.
I think the spell proficiency works kind of similar. I didn't realize it. Zwanzig pointed it out in our Discord, where if you're trying to like level up cure or something, it'll only give you 2 points outside of battle. But if you are in battle and there's enemies that you're using stuff against or different things, you'll get higher, like more bang for your buck on each cast, as well as potentially leveling up your MP stat. Which leveling up MP in NES sucks.
Oh my god. Okay, so
I started doing the sap trick.
I was gonna say, yeah. Go ahead.
It did not work as well as it did in the Pixel remaster, and I needed it a lot more than I needed it in the Pixel remaster, but there were times where I literally was able to get like a critical hit Maria by casting sap, so it cut her MP in half, and I was like, surely that's enough. It went from like 300 to 150. That's enough for a level up. Nope. I finished that battle, and like it's not guaranteed to actually work, so I had to like.
Oh,
it was
is
all
it
sap
not
level
guaranteed
1, and
to
it was
actually work?
It was so much grinding, and then I was like, that'll work, and then it didn't, and I was like, oh my god, I hate this.
Okay, so I have I was going to say a small aside, but this is not an aside. This is integral to Final Fantasy II, where I'm getting up out of Curtis's graphics corner, and I'm moving over to the other corner of the room where it's like sitting down and bitching about things corner. So
He's running out of corners quickly.
Yeah, there's only so many corners in this room. But okay, the other thing. So I've now adequately fed up with Famicom Final Fantasy II. I've like gotten to the point where I'm like, I do enjoy playing a slow plotting old school RPG. I actually love it, right? Like I love playing Famicom Megami Tensei, like the original one, right? But the amount of time I have left in my life versus the amount of time I need to dedicate to Final Fantasy II, that ratio has become like too close to 1, right?
Yeah.
Like so I have turned on fast forwarding on my emulator where I
need to get tips on how to do that, because I was drastically trying to like.
Are you using RetroArch?
I am.
I know exactly what the problem is, because it took me forever too.
Yeah, because I could not find it, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just do it the old-fashioned way.
You have to. I started using the sap trick. I started hitting my own party members where I'm going all the way in. The only thing I haven't done yet is turned on like Game Genie cheats or whatever. So I'm still going to try to do it without that. But like, this game is testing my patience, because even after doing all the like cheap leveling up that I've been doing, it's still not easy. Like it's still hard.
No, I do really appreciate the challenge, and like I've said so many times before, it's like at the time this is like super cool for what it's doing. Like,
oh my god, if I was like,
it was, let's just say it was really short-sighted of the developers of Final Fantasy II to release this game with these mechanics and have it coincide with the same time that we are covering it for our podcast, around the same time that Tears of the Kingdom came out, where I was like, oh my god, I'm using sap and I could be like crucifying a Korok or whatever.
But I am like almost at the point now where I'm like, I'm just gonna play the Pixel Remaster. Fuck it, like it's same game. Who care?
Pixel Remaster is chef's kiss, especially, and that's so what I love about this experience of actually going through. Because if I only played the Pixel Remaster and then like went through and played the Game Boy one, I would my whole tune of this game would just be like, it's amazing. I don't really get why people complain about it as much as they do and stuff. But like playing the NES, I'm like, oh yeah, I could definitely understand where people are coming from if this is the only version that they had played. But I will say that all of the mechanics, as like clunky as they can be, are really well implemented in like remakes of the game, and it's really, really charming.
Once they're refined a little bit, once the numbers are tweaked a little bit to make it a little more palatable, to make it a little bit more easier, it actually comes out really well, I think. Like once you do that.
I'm probably one of the rare few in the world who hasn't played Skyrim, but I found out that the leveling system is actually fairly similar.
Yeah.
Which is like wild.
I was comparing to Bethesda games early in the season. It was like, oh yeah, you can just jump around the map to up your jump skill or whatever, and things like that. And then enemies also scale with you and things like that, right?
I think a pretty common thing in like Skyrim or maybe some of the older Elder Scrolls games is just like, okay, well, I need to up my blacksmithing skill, so I have all the materials. I'm just going to stand and refine this knife over and over again, and I'm going to just like put it on auto on my computer and step away for 8 hours and come back, and then my stats are maxed out.
Just have turbo turned on. It's like when I was farming some sort of spheres in Monster Arena in FF10. Yeah, because I just like, if I just hit A, I will always battle and always fight this weird dog enemy over and over again if I just smash A. So I just put a capo from my guitar on the controller. So it just smashed A for like an hour farming orbs like a weird cryptocurrency.
I have no problem with you automating your process to get spheres, but I do have issue with you using a capo. How dare you?
Oh, a little bit more about the sap thing, just because it is informational, right?
Mm-hmm.
So multiple times Carl has told me about the sap trick on this podcast, and then the next day I go, what's the sap trick? That's happened like 3 times, but I remembered it this time how to do it. And yeah, you're not wrong, it doesn't stick. So sap, its effectiveness in this game is low. I think
the important thing to talk about is usually when people talk about the sap trick, they're specifically saying Minwoo has like level 7 sap, like right out the gate or whatever.
Yes.
So it's real easy to get like super high MP before you like get past like the first part of the game. But going back and doing it on this where you have to level up sap is a lot more difficult.
So my understanding of this, I believe this is correct, is it's actually a number of casts that you're doing when you level up a skill or whatever. So you're kind of casting, like, so Minwoo, instead of casting sap 7, is essentially casting sap 1 7 times. And so the likelihood of it actually sticking is going up over time. I believe.
I think that makes a sense. Yeah, that makes. I think it makes sense too with like fire or something where it's a different animation and stuff. But it's and in the same way that
I'm
as
actually
you
reading
level
right
up,
now. That is correct, by the way.
Yeah, and it makes sense because when you level up your proficiency with a weapon, that just makes it so that when you get a hit, you have a higher roll of how many hits you can do. So your proficiency level 7 with a sword, you do 7 hits, which increases the damage significantly.
Right.
I'd like to think that just like, I've fought so many things with a sword that now I can fight it and hit it 7 times in a row.
But yeah, so at very first, I mean, I was sticking sap to a character maybe 1 out of every 4 casts, and it was never the character that I wanted it to stick to. So I would like hit Guy, and then Guy would get more MP, and I'd be like, son of a bitch, because you can multicast
the whole party with it.
Yeah, I tried, because I kept casting it on Maria, and I did it like 10 times, and it never worked once. So I started multicasting it, and I noticed that like, ooh, on this battle it hit Guy. Oh, on this battle it hit, Gordon or whatever.
Yeah. My strat for it was having 3 people have sap, and they all targeted Maria, and even that was not very helpful. I had Guy and Furion level up to level 2 as like their only magic that they have is sap.
I did it right outside of Salamon. So what I would do is I'd walk left and right outside of Salamon, and then have Furion cast sap on everybody, and then Guy and Gordon would punch characters, like they would hit characters to reduce their HP, and then Maria would use a black magic spell on one enemy. And so every time I could get black magic proficiency up, I could sometimes get more MP if there was like a lot of enemies, and I would get the MP from Furion. So I was leveling up my HP and my magic and my MP all at the same time, and then after the battle was over, I would use Furion to cure everybody so that Cure would level up.
Interesting. I wonder, I'm not sure how the HP system works specifically, but in my experience with it, I think if you were to heal someone up, like if you have Guy punch himself in the head so that he loses like 500 hit points, guaranteeing that you're going to get up, but then you heal him at the end of the battle, I think that's factored into it at the end of the battle, like what you started the battle with versus what you ended it with. So I think healing might actually negate punching you in the head. I might be wrong.
Well, I would be doing it in the menu afterwards.
Oh, in the menu.
Because
okay.
I would never waste one of Furion's turns when he could be using sap.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important to mention that again, like in the Pixel remaster, this stuff is way easier because you can just set auto battle and have it fast forward for you and just set like, okay, everyone's going to defend except Maria is going to cast sap, and you can just like put your game down and walk away for a minute, and then when you come back you're like, oh good, I'm all leveled up now. But in the NES it's like every individual action has to be taken. There's no defending. The only thing that you can really do that would be similar to defending is putting someone in the back row and trying to have them punch themselves, which is ineffective because it's them technically trying to punch something that is outside of their range of being able to punch, which is pretty funny.
So I have right here exactly how the hit points works. Your HP needs to be, you need to have at least an eighth of your starting eight. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. Your HP needs to be 1/8 lower at the end of the battle than at the beginning of the battle. So if you have 800 HP total whether it's your max or whether it's your current, irrelevant, or it has to be your current. If you take 100 damage, you get a chance to increase your HP. And every subsequent eighth, it rolls again for another success. And once you get a success, it stops rolling and it increases it by your stamina.
Yeah,
so
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so if you reduce it 7/8 of the way down, you get the most rolls that you can for a HP gain.
I find it really interesting that this game takes out some of like the RNG of like leveling up. I guess there's not usually this much RNG in leveling up, but
it takes out the RNG of stat gain and replaces it with like, will you stat gain?
Yeah. It's funny though, like the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, oh no, it's actually more RNG. Because at the first I was like, oh, I can just guarantee that I get stat increases that I want, and I can kind of hone my build however I want. And it's not quite as easy as I thought it was, which is fun.
I also like in the guide about the mechanics that I'm reading right now, I just want to point out one line that's in the magic points gaining, which is telling you how to gain MP or whatever. This is how the line goes. You can use spells like Sap and Swap on your own party members to lower their MP pools quickly if you want to advance your MP faster. But this is a highly questionable activity.
Highly questionable is
what do they mean
by
this?
That is very dubious. You do not want to cheat the game and yourself.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but anyway, so
right, so we're on the Dreadnought.
Hilda just saw us standing outside of her prison cell as we talked about the various.
We're trying to decide how to open the door, probably using the goddess spell.
Yeah,
and it unlocked without a sound again.
Yeah, yeah. I like that in the NES one. There's like 2 tiles worth of like a cell, and you hit the first one, it's like it opened, and then that disappears, and there's still another one there. Then you hit that again, it's like it opened and disappears. But yeah, you talk to Hilda and she says, let's get out of here quick. And then if you talk to Sid, he says, I'll head for the airship with the princess. You find that engine and toss the Sunfire in. The Dreadnought will blow up and I'll have my airship ready to take off. And then there's significantly more dialogue in the Pixel remaster, where Hilda kind of apologizes and said she was trying to meet you at Kashon Keep. And like Sid's like, yeah, let's save the thank yous for later. I'll head to the airship with the princess. And he kind of reminds you about the Sunfire. But yeah, we can kind of make our way deep into the bowels of the ship and find the engine.
I love getting into the bowels. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the conversation by saying that.
Oh no, not at all. I was just trying. I was like, I've been talking for way too long. Like, I'll let someone else. I'll let someone else throw the Sunfire in.
So there's a dude maze on the top floor or bottom floor of the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
This is giving me big like Pokemon energy.
Oh, me
like,
too.
Trainers.
I was like, oh my god, we're back in Sabrina's dungeon or whatever.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a maze of dudes on the floor before you actually get to the Dreadnought engine.
It's like every bar.
Oh yeah. Oh, I get what you mean now. It's like dude maze. But you're right. Yeah, like either you have
a maze
to fight
just
them,
for the fellas,
or you just have to like go around. I imagine this is way worse on the NES version because of all the encounters and backtracking you have to do. But dude maze.
I like the idea of just like brushing shoulders of the guy and then immediately getting in a fight with like a freaking zombie just right next to him. Like, what's up with that guy?
Luckily, on the NES version, you can just go to subay-web.com/ff2-map-dreadnought, and they have the full path there of what you need to do to just make it through all the dudes in the dude maze. That's what I did, because I was like, I went through this all already in the Pixel remaster. My success is getting more and more limited with every encounter that I get into. So I'm just gonna go for it. I guess I might have been able to try and fight some of them to make like an easier path to it, but I didn't even try that. I was just like, I just need to get out of here. Yeah, it's a cool little, it's not quite a stealth section, but you know, in like a role-playing kind of way, you can kind of imagine you're sneaking around all the soldiers to get to the engine room and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that probably is what's kind of going on there, right? Because they were evading all these guards, evading their gaze, and then getting to the engine room.
It just plays the castle music from Ocarina of Time when you're sneaking in to meet Zelda for the first time.
But
Right.
we get into the engine room, which is just a pitch black room, not very OSHA safe. No handrails, just like 2-tile wide catwalk going up to the engine. Can't believe this. Who would build a Dreadnought this way?
They did increase the OSHA compliance on the Pixel Remaster because there are handrails there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd take it back. I guess they got fined in the original one, and they made the appropriate changes.
There's 4 giant engines in the Pixel Remastered as well.
Oh, okay.
Is the NES version just a void with a hole?
Oh yeah, it's just void, and there's like 4 like they almost look like the like roll-on deodorant like from back in the day that like I think my mom got it from like Avon or something, and that's what everyone in my family had to use for most of our teenage years. That's what it kind of looks like where you throw the Sunfire in, but in the Pixel Remaster there are like engines that are like underneath, like on the bottom layer.
Okay. I was gonna say they didn't fix the black void; they fixed everything else. So,
oh yeah, I see what you're looking at. The actual engine itself is just has these 4 nubs in the middle.
But either way, we can go up to the engine, press A, and then whisper to it, "Wild Rose," and nothing happens.
And then it fights us.
Then it
Rebels
come, it fights us. No, but we can also throw in the Sunfire.
Or for me, he says, "You see the Dreadnought's engine." Maria says, "Let's blow this thing up." And then Firen says, "We can't, not yet. We have to rescue the princess first."
Oh no!
Yeah, I did that.
So I had to backtrack.
Did you? Oh,
I wonder if you could warp out at that point, or if you could never warp.
I think I tried warping. I could not.
Yeah. I was like, did I just not level warp up enough?
Because I was like, it'll be just quicker to go to the beginning. Yeah.
Guy has teleport and warp at level 1, and it just never works. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's the game saying like I can't actually warp here, or
God, that would be terrible. Actually, oh my God, could you imagine if you had the level up warp and teleport to teleport out of later dungeons?
Honestly, in the Famicom version, I would not have put it past it. Like Asuna, you need to level it up to like Cure Sleep.
Oh my God, let me tell you. So I got a message from I'm putting my DMs out there for everybody to hear. So if you DM me, just know I might read them out loud on the podcast. That's the danger.
Or just leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah. But Zwanzig messaged me the other day, and I think said that Asuna is the worst part of FF2.
Yeah,
just like,
it's
this is
definitely
atrocious. And I was like, yeah, kind of bad.
Yeah.
Although he did beat the Famicom version recently, so it's doable.
Oh yeah. I think it's all doable without the strats that we're talking about. It's mainly you're just grinding out your time stat into your what you get out of it stat, as Curtis mentioned.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
But I don't know about y'all, but this engine room is very toasty. I think I might take a little nap.
Before we throw the Sunfire in?
Yeah, well, we're all ready to throw the Sunfire in. Alex has to go back and save the princess. So let's make camp here, and we'll throw the Sunfire in.
Okay. When we get back camp from the engine room.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, I suppose we'll see you all after the break. Well, I can think of a good place to turn up the heat.
Oh, yeah. It's like a sauna in here.
The Sunfire's making me thirsty.
So we get out our metal grating and we throw some stakes on it above the Dreadnought engine. Let the Sunfire.
That would be such a flex
those.
on the Empire to just like make s'mores before destroying their warship.
Smoking my meats.
Yeah, we get the smoker out. Yeah, smoked them.
I think Sid took the smoker and put it on his airship. He seems like the type who, I mean, judging by like every Sid and every other Final Fantasy game, I can, incept that personality onto him. I'm like, that dude would have a smoker.
I'm sure there's like a sci-fi where someone's like sitting on the back of the ship with like a fishing line and just like cooking shit in front of the thrusters and stuff like that.
Let me, because I agree with you, Carl. I do. That I think every Sid is the type to own a smoker and to grill. Because like I feel when
for sure
when they're making a Final Fantasy, they're like, okay, what character is most likely to just want to grill? That will be Sid. However, challenge for the listeners and the podcast. Would Final Fantasy 12 Sid want to grill?
Yeah.
Do you think 12 Sid would be a grill? Because he seems a little too nerdy to me. I don't know that he goes outside.
I'm not familiar.
Nerds grill.
Nerds are big into grilling.
Not
It's all about
nerd.
hitting a certain age, and then you get the grill pill mindset of like, I really want to grill. I haven't jumped into that lifestyle yet, but I think this might be the summer that I do it.
What about FF8 Sid? Kramer.
No.
No, but I think he would enjoy a good barbecue.
I think FF8 Sid would be more likely to grill than FF12 Sid.
I don't know why. I get the vibe.
I guess it depends. I mean, like, if Zell's at Sid's house, then of course Sid's gonna have to bust out the grill and make some hot dogs.
True.
Well, maybe you might be right. Because like FF8 Sid is kind of helpless.
I know
in
the
many
perfect
ways.
Sid who would not grill, and it's Final Fantasy 13.
Oh,
He does not seem like the type of guy to grill.
Oh yeah,
He doesn't seem like he's hit his grill stage yet, though.
Maybe. I bet he would though.
That's
I
not
feel
his
like
focus.
He would when Bartandalis forces him to as his puppet.
That's right. Yeah.
I think 12 Sid would, just because he looks the part. He looks like
He's so
somebody I have
fancy.
had grill
Dr.
for me
Sid.
before.
Huh.
You know,
Okay.
you just gotta like put a Hawaiian shirt on him, some shorts, some cargo
He seems
shorts.
too much like a fancy lad to wear shorts. I think that's my objection is that I'm like, no, he's too fancy. He's too like
I think
his
grilling
science tower.
Grilling is for anyone. I think a good way to look at it is in the Parks and Rec episode where they have a grill off between Ron Swanson and Rob Lowe's character, whose name I do not remember, so I'll just call him Rob Lowe. And Rob Lowe is like making a vegan burger and saying like he'll make a better burger than anything Ron Swanson can make. And Ron Swanson literally just gets like patties and like throws them on the grill. So like I feel like this Sid would definitely like go all out and make something really like artisanal, right? Like a really good thing. It wouldn't necessarily be like a grill that you would find at most barbecues, but
Which Sid would be the best at grilling?
FF15 maybe?
Oh,
yeah.
FF15 Sid would be good at grilling.
FF10 too. I feel like he would probably be pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you're right. You're
His
right.
voice. He's got a grill voice.
He's got a grill voice. He
He's
does.
got a little bit of that twang.
He does. You ain't lying. I bet FF9 Sid would be competent. He'd be like a secret griller where you're like, you don't know that he's good at grilling, but then you're at the castle and he's like, yo, by the way, did you know I could grill? And you're like, oh, what? FF9 Sid can grill? Sick.
Yeah, I mean, we're all leaving out FF4 Sid as well. Who that?
Well, you know
that
he's
beard. That's one of the best burgers you've ever had in your entire life.
He only grills. That's it.
Yeah, that's a little unfair. That man only grills.
Yeah. You know,
Always be grilling.
I'll go with 10. I'll say that 10 probably is the best at grilling.
Yeah,
Although, I mean,
I can see that.
In 5, he literally invented a steam ship, like something that runs on like
So he
heat,
makes
you
the
know?
steamed hams.
Yeah, he makes those steamed hams. That's right. So, I mean, he'd probably be pretty good too. But yeah, I think you're probably right. I think 10. If you listener think you know which Sid would be the best at grilling, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and tell us who you think would be the best at grilling.
Grill 3.
I'm trying to think. I mean, this Sid, garlic is an item in this world.
Yeah,
so
it's true. It's true.
We also need to consider that garlic improves any kind of,
Well,
especially
and
grilling garlic.
I think FF2
Marinade.
Sid would be a competent griller as well. I think he would also be very good, but I feel like he doesn't have enough characterization in the world to truly be able to tell if he would be masterful at the craft. Like if he has like an apron with a funny saying on it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't know that he
FF7
would.
Sid would definitely have the apron.
Absolutely.
It would say like "kiss the cook" or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we throw the sunfire into the engine, and the
So
entire
yeah, we use
Dreadnought
Eagle's
explodes.
torch that we got last time, and we throw the sunfire into the engine to finally blow it up and put an end to this nightmare.
It's like the Olympics. We brought the torch and then we're immediately sprinting.
Yeah, the games immediately begin.
Well, except the Dark Knight has come. He just shows up from like stage right and it's like, what have you
the
done?
Dark
The
Knight
engine.
shows up and he's like, "Whoa! I don't remember doing that to your airship." There's only 2 of these things, you know.
I do like the difference in dialogue between the Dark Knight and in the Pixel remaster and in the NES version, where he says, "Don't consider this a victory." Or in the Pixel remaster, he says, "What have you done? The engine." And Maria says, "That voice ... ... implying that there might be. She might recognize the voice. And Furion just says, "There's no time, Maria. The ship will blow up any minute. We have to get to Sid's airship," and everyone takes off. In the NES translated version, Maria just straight up says, "That voice sounded like ... my brothers."
Yeah,
and it's like, well, there's
yep.
Yeah, and Furion just says, "Never mind that. Let's hurry to Sid's airship." And hurry to Sid's airship they do, because I think this was the kindness that you were talking about a little earlier, Curtis.
Oh my God, yes. Sorry, I was. Do you want me to explain?
I keep trying to let other people talk, and then it's just dead air. I'm like, oh no.
Look. I am currently looking up the Japanese script to see if she also says that in Japanese.
I'll speak on the kindness that they do. So that was a rough dungeon, depending on which version you're playing and how competent you are.
Before you start, Alex, is there a way to untranslate my Google Chrome when it automatically translates something?
At the top in the address bar, there's usually a little icon that mentions for translations, I think.
Thank you. All right, continue.
But it kind of just shows us a supercut of our team escaping, and on the NES one, it's just you see them at each entryway that we've gotten to, and it shows that screen, and then it flashes to another one, and then another one, and then we're finally outside, and we're on the airship, and we are flying back to Altair.
Yeah, and the Dreadnought is gone.
Yeah, we've officially taken care of it.
It feels like the placement of it was really just out of the way so that it didn't affect any other place nearby when it exploded.
Yeah, it's the Dragon Ball Z rules where it's oh, well, we have to have this huge battle where we just blow everything up. So we're going to go into this canyon over here that is completely far away from everything.
FF7 would just have it dock right above Midgar. Just it's the sister ray of the fucking Sugar Ray.
I just want to fly.
So it just drops us off, or do we fly now on our own?
It just drops us off. We don't have control or anything. Sid's got some grilling to do, so he just boots us at Altair, and he heads back to Poft or Palome or wherever he is.
So I talked to that asshole mage again, and he was like, "Blew up the Dreadnought, did you? I always knew you had it in you."
Yeah, I love that. I it's so funny. I'm like, I don't trust you, asshole.
It's fucking asshole.
No, but this is where he changes his tune for the rest of the game. He suddenly respects you. I'm pretty sure.
All it took, yeah, I think you're right, Bay. All it took was us destroying a weapon of mass destruction to gain this old man's respect.
Do you think that guy grills?
Oh, for sure.
He's been grilling us all the game.
I think he does, but he also isn't very good at it. So everything is the most well done you could possibly do it while it still is edible, but you don't like to eat it.
So in the Japanese, Maria does not mention that voice sounds like her brother's.
Editorializing.
Damn. So that is the fan translation, just adding it in.
Oh wait, no. It does. It just doesn't when I hit translate into English.
Oh.
What? How weird.
No, none of this is adding up at all.
I see.
I always thought it was obvious who that was.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. There's 4 characters that we're introduced to at the beginning of the game. One of them is missing, and we've been looking for him, and suddenly it's that voice.
So in the Japanese,
that's all you need.
Does it say my brother or not?
Okay, so the reason why I thought it didn't at first, but now I see that it does, is because when I hit so I found the part where it says it. I hit translate into English, and in the English translation, the Google translation for the script, it doesn't say, "Oh, that voice was my brother's," but that's because she says it with ellipses in the word Nissan. So my brother or whatever, it's ni ... sa ... and so Google didn't know what to do with it, and was just throw that line out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was it didn't know what to do with it, so it's that voice was the voice of my favorite brand of car.
But yeah. So she says,
back, baby.
She says, "Sono koe wa Nissan." So that voice Is it my brother's or whatever? So she does, in the Famicom version, she does actually say like, oh, that sounded like my brother.
They added more intrigue in the American version, though.
Yeah.
It's the Japanese version is like in Star Wars. If Yoda said no, there is another. It's Luke's sister, actually, Leia.
Yeah,
She's
yeah, just outright
it's
said it.
Leia Skywalker, Luke's sister. But yeah, we're back in Altair. We can check in with our homies and see how everyone's doing. We can talk to that old guy who's finally gained our respect. But an interesting bit of dialogue that happens in like the main room where all of the rebels are kind of gathered, sitting around tables and stuff.
There's a lot of interesting dialogue here.
Yeah, you go up to the one and they say, the princess is safe, but the king is not well, ... And then you go to a different person and talk to them and they say, the princess is safe, but the king is not well. And there's a third person who also says that, but someone does say the king's condition has worsened. And then when you talk to some of the other guys around there, they say, the king's condition has worsened. So, someone else gives us chops that the other NPC who's been grilling us the whole time, like, it says the same exact thing as him. So it makes it feel a little less meaningful.
But we go visit the king, and upon entering his room, we get a scene where it's like our party, Gordon and Minwoo are all there standing beside each
like,
other.
Yo, Minwoo, can you just like cast sap on all of us like 100 times real quick, and then
yeah. But the king asks Gordon to basically, I would say he's asking him to become like the second in command. He's like, you've done so much for us. Please help Hilda, like kind of, take my position or whatever. Become the next in line, I suppose. And he swears on his life that he will. And then the king, and here's, I guess this is the weird part to me. The king says to Minwoo, the time for unleashing Ultima has come. And I was like,
what?
We beat the Dreadnought though. Like, we won. We did a good job, and they don't have the Dreadnought anymore. We can fight back. Are things more dire now?
No, his king senses knew it wasn't over.
I guess so. Like, I was just like, I thought we'd come home and they'd be like, damn, nice job. We finally got one over on him. But the king's like, oh my God, we won? Things are dire. What do you mean? We did a good job.
Yeah, we're here to kick ass and use Sunfire, and we're all out of Sunfire.
But yeah, they drop Ultima, which I think is the very first instance of Ultima in the series.
Yeah.
A spell that recurs as the most powerful spell in Final Fantasy, and sometimes even has plot relevance. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if they mention Ultima in the Pixel remaster, though. They just mentioned ultimate magic.
Minwoo says, the time to break the seal binding the Ultima Tome is upon us. That's in the Pixel remaster.
Okay, then maybe I just didn't capture that one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then the king says, I would have you go to Deist, home of the Dragoons.
Ooh.
The Dragoons.
The Dragoons.
You see, I don't know if I missed a dialogue line here, but he says, I refuse to believe there are no survivals in so noble a group. So, apparently things, we're not sure how the Dragoons are doing in Deist, but we got to head there. If you look on your map, you can find Deist, and it's across the ocean.
Also, speaking of Ultima, and I don't mean to like backtrack, but before we move on to the Dragoons, totally, he does mention about Ultima that the only time that seal can be broken is when the world is on the brink of destruction.
How does it know? Is what I want to know.
A, how does it know? B, how does us blowing up the Dreadnought make things that much worse?
Yeah. If anything, we've delayed the apocalypse, like Idris Elba would have us believe.
Yeah,
maybe it's just like lots of Sunfire fumes are now just in the atmosphere now because of us.
The Ultimate Tome just keeps up with Twitter. It can tell.
I also have to say, this is the first time, and probably only time, Ultima is not really worth it if you don't use it. But that you get it later, but still, like, that's the one thing. You use it for the first time, and I think you only get one chance to equip it. And that one person, it'll still just do, because you have to level it.
I have a lot to speak on with Ultima specifically and how it levels in this game. Should I talk about it now, or should we wait until it's a little more plot relevant? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like B said, it's really not worth it in this game, especially not worth it in the Famicom version.
I
Oh,
guess
no.
we'll do more in depth when we get it, but we can
Yeah.
just for now be like, yeah, it sucks. Speaking of which,
So
did y'all get
to you.
Scourge?
Scourge, I
Yeah.
do have Scourge, the Scourge of
Yeah.
Cerberus.
That's a decent spell.
Yeah, I liked it.
Scourge is something that sells for really high as well, because when my inventory was up, I was like, I think it was like 4,000 gil or something in the NES version. I'm like, nice, dude.
It's like a dark elemental spell, I think, right?
I think so. I've definitely had it used against me as well in battle, which
Yeah,
luckily when it's
yeah.
multicast, it's not too bad to deal with, but
Yeah.
like any spell in this, I guess.
King's dead.
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah,
king
then
dies.
He died.
but
In the NES version, he just disappears.
we don't respect the monarchy around here, so.
I will say though, when the king dies, they do a thing that I always love in games, and I think this is the first instance of it. Like this game was the first instance of Final Fantasy doing this, which it does a lot, where it changes the song.
It
Yeah, it
does.
plays the
It
game
So
plays
that's
over
happened
music.
a couple times. Yeah, it's done that a couple of times in this game already, but I always love that, and I'm like, hell yeah, like game just being like, hey, you should be sad right now, which we clearly are.
I'm distraught.
Yeah. And I do like I feel like from the first episode of this game, we kind of talked about it a little bit, that like it's pretty impressive how, I will say, kind of mature the game is about a lot of things when it comes to like its emotional points, because Gordon immediately is just like, that's a terrible loss, but we have to move on. Like we have to keep rocking and rolling, which is great for Gordon because we met him as being a coward and very sentimental and unable to move past his
it's
own
really good
feelings.
character growth for him.
He was trapped in the keep waiting for us.
Yeah.
He's like,
Lock
dude,
the door
I think I
behind
saw a zombie in there. I'm scared as shit.
yeah.
I would be too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those ogre mages cast in Blizzard, please.
I like that all of the characters in this game are kind of the blueprint for some characters we see later. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gordon is essentially Edward, but I
Yeah,
feel like he's got a little more dog in him, a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
Like, you see
Yeah,
a little more
yeah.
growth.
Got a little more dog in him. I mean,
Yeah.
the letters DOG are in his name, so like it's right there. Although Edward has war in his name, so I mean,
I think
who's
I
to
also
say?
I just saw something in my Famicom screenshot that when they're talking about the dragoons and everything, the king does mention that the emperor the empire claims to have wiped out all the dragoons. So I think
Yeah,
I might
yeah.
have skipped something in the Pixel remaster that says that explicitly, but basically they're like, oh yeah, they're saying that they're all dead, but like I refuse to believe that. Like such a noble group could not be taken down so easily.
He also mentions
Yeah.
they have wyverns, like the dragons.
Yeah.
They do.
That's cool.
Let's go find them. So if we leave the king's room, sad as it is to know he's passed away.
Gordon's no longer in our party.
Yeah, so hopefully you unequipped all his stuff on Famicom, otherwise it's all gone.
Yeah, but if we head to the princess's room, she's just in there laughing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I mean, listen, everyone grieves differently. So, you know, her father just passed away. So that's a hard thing to go through. And she's just in there laughing. Now, the weird thing is before her father passed away, if you went in there to talk to her first, she's also just laughing. But we can probably, we got to check out the dragoons. We don't have to worry about that right now. We'll leave her to whatever she's laughing at.
Nothing suspect.
Nothing suspect at all. Everything is coming up Altair right now.
Interesting.
I do like that Gordon says a wyvern would make for a most advantageous ally.
A wyvern. So what's our next goal? I guess we're gonna make our way to.
We got to find our way
Diced.
to Diced. And if we talk to Gordon again, he says you should visit the port of Paloom and seek out a ship to take you to Diced.
Yeah, but
That we do.
that last ship, the ship that we usually take, it doesn't go to Diced. It only
That goes
to
two
Poct.
places. Yeah.
So we go into Paloom, and then there's an extra NPC here.
There is an
Yeah.
extra NPC. Luckily, there's another boat that we can charter right here, above board. Love
Do
it.
we see a second ship on the overworld?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. We do see the airship is back, which is good. Would you think like, hey Sid, can you just like fly us there? Like we like kind of saved your life.
Oh yeah,
after
and there's
you
not even
fucked
a
up?
Dreadnought anymore. Like you can just
Yeah,
fly
like
anywhere
skies
you
are
want.
free. Like I mean, can we get to Diced?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Wait.
should
We have
try
an
that.
airship. Come on.
Because
Say
I'm
what?
curious if like he
I don't
says
think-
anything.
I don't know if you can actually fly there. I think that would probably be a soft lock. So I don't think, even in the Pixel remaster where you can fly to a lot more places, I don't think, if I'm remembering correctly, that you can get to Diced. Because it is on its own, the only way to get there is through a boat. So if you flew there,
Is Sid in Altair right now, or is he back in like?
He probably is
He's-
in Altair.
Is
no,
there
he's
any-
in he and his airship. I think I actually did check this because I was
Did you
like,
go
oh,
back?
that bar that was hopping with everyone, that they're all either escaped or died in the attack.
talking about something being.
I think the only ones in there now are Sid and
Oh, really?
yeah, and his
Dude, the grind
assistant.
never stops for that man.
Yeah,
Dude, 365. Wake up.
gotta
grind
do
set.
something.
That's right.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm curious if he even has Diced on his list of places, or if it's just too dangerous. Because if we talk to the pirates, they do also say like, you want to go to Dice, not in my ship. Go find someone else who's crazy enough to take you there. So I'm guessing Dice is like a dicey place.
I think it makes sense.
Sid gets
too.
right back to the grind so fast. He's one of these guys that if you don't have an airship by the time you're 23, you're not grinding hard enough. You need to have an Instagram,
Oh,
3
no.
side hustles, and an airship.
A grind set.
Yeah, his other side hustle is grilling, obviously. But yeah, I guess it makes sense, like the line of thinking, like, oh, I don't want to go near Diced. Like the Empire just wiped them completely out. Like they hit us, but they didn't hit us like hard enough to get rid of all of us. Like all the dragoons are dead. There's nothing there for us. We're not going to travel there, especially because the seas are pretty treacherous.
I also wonder if wyverns are just like a threat to airships. They just, it's like hitting
Yeah.
weird.
They get
geese.
stuck in the turbines like geese.
But yeah, we do see a sailor here who is a unique sprite, so probably important. And if we talk to her in the Pixel remaster, it just says that her name is Sailor, and she says, "Ye be looking for passage to Diced, are ye? Well, this be your lucky day. Just so happens me ship was about to leave for Diced, but be ye wanting a ride?" I do love the pirate speak that they added into this.
Yeah. Speaking of Gordon being
Yes, I know. I was
Proto-Edward.
gonna
Yeah.
say she is Ferris.
just pro Ferris. Love that.
Yeah, Maria, there's a really good moment of Dude's Rock here where Maria's like, this seems a little too convenient. Like, Firion, I don't know if we should like take up this like pirate that we just met who's like, hey, I'll take you to that dangerous place no one else wants to go. And Firion's just like, nah, it's fine. Let's go.
If we know anything about Firion from the manual or the later manuals or the book from Final Fantasy II, is that Firion loves the ladies. He's like, but a girl's offering me a ride on a ship.
Yeah, he's the proto Zidane.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, it literally in the fan translated one I'm playing, he says, "It's fine. It's a free ride. We'll take you up on your offer."
It's fine.
Yeah, like he's a little Pixel Remaster. He's a little more like sensible. He says maybe it is, but there aren't any other ships going to Diced. Like we're just gonna have to trust her.
No choice.
It's totally fine for us to let our guard down, even for a second.
This does remind me of those TikToks going around of like people just being like catfished on the street. Just like, hey, big boy, want to come into my place kind of thing. I'm just me and my roommate. That's it. Nothing weird about this.
Oh, I don't think I've seen any of
The
those.
person with the camera was smart enough not to take them up on it.
Yeah.
But this sailor introduces herself as Leela. Or Lila?
Yes.
Lila? Layla?
Layla?
Layla. L-E.
Line.
It's
I think it's
L-E-I.
Layla, right?
Like Sayla.
Like Layla. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Wait,
In Japanese is what? Riera, right?
It would be like Ray.
Rayra. Yeah.
Or Layla in
Yeah,
alternate
Layla.
names as well. There's like a lot of different ones. I like her Amano design. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, her Amano design is so wonderful. This is one of my favorite characters in this game, if
Me
not my
too.
favorite character.
She
I
is-
really like her.
She has a
Yeah.
similar headdress to Firion as well. Just like a different, which
I
is
just-
tied in the front with a little like button. It kind
I
of reminds
just
me
thought
of
it
that.
was always an interesting choice that they made both female playable characters in the game have such a similar look,
Yeah,
both with purple hair. Because I feel like it's really easy to mix them up. The only thing is that Layla has a little hat. You know,
Oh, you're right. They do
Yeah.
look similar.
I love their frog sprites on the wiki. Every time I look at these, here's their frog sprite. Beautiful looking frog with a hat.
Speaking of which, yeah. Let me look in my FF Pixel Remaster
I have that too.
pixel art book.
Oh, I have that as well. Dave from Daycare Ditto's got it for me.
Nice.
Love you, Dave.
Let me see what they look like here. Oh, wait. This would be different anyway, because these are the Pixel remasters. So, never mind. Let me put this up.
They do look very similar in the Pixel remasters. In the NES one, Layla, like her overworld sprite, has blue hair, but also like the portrait of
Does she have
Maria
blue hair?
also has blue hair. So I think I have a. I don't think I took a. Oh yeah, like so her portrait in the NES one is like red hair as well. Interesting.
Red or
Yeah,
brown
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the battle sprite is kind of brown hair and the overworld sprite is kind of orangey.
Yeah, so the hair kind of changes in the NES version, but
Limitations.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of her,
But she has a pink and purple aesthetic. And but yeah, she has a blue boat.
and speaking of her introducing herself, she does so in such a way that she says, "I am now going to rob you because you are stuck on my ship and there is no way to get off my ship. So give
because
me all
let me
of your
introduce you to
valuables."
my 8 homies.
Yeah, right, yeah. Because, like, the party refuses to hand over our valuables, and she's like, "Oh, it's a fight you're wanting. All right, let's do it. Let's roll." And she introduces us to her 8 friends who look amazing on the Famicom version. I love them.
They look so good.
Those are 8 dudes right there. Damn.
Yeah.
That's capital D dudes, and I mean like
pirate.
both D's are capital in the word dude. Incredible.
So how do y'all do with this 8 pirate fight?
Well,
I-
Maria has
take-
multicast magic, and she dealt with it immediately.
Yeah, same. I was just like fire 4. I might be at fire 5 at this point, and it was just like boom,
Yep.
no problem.
Easy peasy.
Also, if you have any books, like any
Mhm.
tomes, you can multicast a level 8 spell and take them all out immediately too.
Right. I think the way that tomes work, I think it still requires your like magic stat to be kind of leveled up, because I've used tomes with in like dire situations of trying to get out of a dungeon. I've used it with like Guy and Firium.
Wait, you can use those as items?
Yeah, you can use them like items.
Yeah.
I did
Mhm.
not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice. On the Famicom one, you have to like equip it to like the 2 slots that you have for items.
Yeah.
But in Pixel Remaster, you just have access to all of your items like throughout the game. So any battle, you can just use any tomes that you have that are just kind of taking up space in your inventory.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Oops.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
actually
which is-
comes
I
in
think
handy
that's-
'cause you can get them as drops. So
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think that came back in like a big way in FF4, right?
in a big way, yes, because you have like the bomb arm and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
4, or I guess it's bomb fragment in 4. Whatever. Anyway, yes, there are there are items that you can use. I mean, they're in 3
They
as
do
well.
that
I think
in 3, yeah, because the Antarctic
Yeah.
Wind, I think,
the first item you
actually
get.
comes from 3, and then that's how they kind
Yeah.
of continue doing tomes moving forward, is
Yeah.
magic-based
specialized
items. Yeah.
Right.
I do like what Layla says in the Pixel Remaster before she sicks all our dudes on you, which is trust in pirates doesn't say much for the space you got between your ears.
Owned. Damn.
Got him.
Fucking put Furion on a fucking fail compilation. Ridiculous.
She also says that she'll spare our lives or your lives, but your loot be ours now. And then we're like, now we're gonna fight.
Yeah. No, actually, we're gonna kill you.
And she does say, "Get 'em, boys," which is great. Get 'em, fellas.
But yeah, after we cast a single black magic across their party, Layla says, "Fine, ye win. Go on, just make it quick." So she's like submitting to be killed by us, and then we like don't kill them and are instead like, "Hey, we need a ship, and you have a bunch of people who run a ship. I think we can make this work somehow."
Yeah.
And so she says, "Oh, what? You want to fight the Empire together without casts like us? All right, we'll take you anywhere you wish." And then we get the boat.
Real Jonathan Johnny Jones or whatever from Super Mario RPG. That's just like the only way to befriend a pirate is to kick the shit out of a pirate and be like, let's team up.
Damn, you're right. I gotta go find a
Nice.
pirate to kick the shit out of.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
She says, to your posts, boys, whether it be diced or the edge of the world, we'll get you there.
oh, that's awesome.
And Layla has joined the party.
Yeah.
An
Leela.
absolute badass.
And she's our first left-handed NPC.
Yes.
Is that what you said? We're implying B?
Yeah, so she is very specifically left-handed, which I always thought was such a like interesting thing, and I don't really feel like you see that after this game. I could be wrong. I'm not remembering. Wait,
I bet she rocks a mean mangouche.
Yeah, well, I think that's the intention of you picking that up, is that then you put that on her essentially, which
That's
is what I
cool.
do.
Deceptive.
She comes with 2 weapons, I think. She's like dual
I
wielding.
usually put on both hands either way because I think it's better, but it's automatically there's something that implies that she's left-handed, and I don't know. I thought maybe there's only one.
You can see it in the menu when you look at her stats on both versions.
Yeah, even on the
This is
Famicom
preferred,
version.
right?
Oh, okay.
I noticed in the artwork, official artwork, I just posted it in the Discord, but like they basically remade the Amano art for the City of Omnia. But in her style, the same pose, but they moved the sword to her left hand, and like that's the only real difference in her pose. I thought it was a nice little detail.
Carl,
Amano's art did not. It has it in the right hand.
I see that you have posted Layla's equipment in the Discord.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that as well.
Is that the that's the setup that she comes with?
That is the setup that she comes with, which I found very interesting because on her, she's very utilitarian. She is prepared for anything. In her right hand, I did put the gouge on her right hand. I think she just had
I was gonna say because if it's a left-handed weapon, it would make sense that she has the gouge in her right hand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she has a dagger in her right hand. I just put it over the dagger that she had it. But more importantly, what was interesting to me is I think she comes equipped with a longbow.
Yeah,
in her item slot. So if she were in a situation where she was suddenly like needing to use a bow, she could swap that in mid-battle, which is something that is much harder to do and much more like planned in Final Fantasy II. So I like that she's just like, all right, I got a dagger, I have a long sword in my left hand, and I have a bow just in case.
Yeah.
She is ready.
She also comes with a fuckload of agility too.
I was looking it up to see which characters are left-handed in this game, and Scott, the what's his name? Gordon's brother who dies. That apparently in Dawn of Souls, he's a playable character in like a side quest.
Yeah,
and in that side quest, he is also left-handed.
Okay,
but I think at this point, Layla is the only lefty.
Kain in FF4 is left-handed and actually
that's
has.
What I was thinking. There was another time, and it was 4.
Yeah,
there is another character in this game later who is left-handed as well.
Okay,
let's go lefties.
Leave us a 5-star review and let us know who your favorite left-handed character is from a Final Fantasy game. If you say Link, I'll disrespect you. Do not approve.
Yeah, Link. Well, he got retconned out of being left-handed because Nintendo are a bunch of cowards.
He's in the left-hand timeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have Layla as a party member now. She's pretty cool. She has incredible agility. Speaking of which, another time to go back to stat corner.
Back to the complaint corner.
Well, not complaint corner. We're going to go to the third corner, which is mathematics corner. So
now I'm just thinking of the Simpsons gag where Bart's looking for Milhouse when he's like
in the tree house, and he looks at all
and
four
he looks
corners.
at all the corners, and they're all empty, and then he looks at another corner, and Milhouse is
somehow a
there.
fifth corner. Yeah. So mathematics corner. Let's talk about agility for a second. Obviously, there's nothing you can do in battle that like utilizes agility, right? Like it's not like an attack thing or something like that. So agility goes up based on your agility. So like the current agility that you have in the Famicom version influences when you get agility ups and how much agility up you get. If you have a character like Guy who is either dual wielding or not equipping a shield and single wielding and has heavy armor, it's possible that his evasion stat will be 0, which means he will never gain agility for the rest of the game. And agility is kind of a super powered stat toward the end of the game because agility only levels up with agility. It it can level up after every battle, essentially. Like, and the more agility you have, the better opportunity you have to level up agility, which increases your evasion stat. So if you take care of agility in the Famicom version from the outset of the game, you can just get through the like last dungeons based on evasion alone. You can just be like, oh, miss me, and like getting through. And like enemies that hit you, 10 times or whatever, will only hit you like once and do like very little damage. So it's actually like more efficient in the end game than armor.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until I read about it today. So so I have none on my characters, so I'm fucked.
Yeah, I have also no agility, which doesn't really seem like it's that big of a deal until you're trying to run away from battles that are very scary. Like all of your party is dead and you need to just escape so you can hopefully like use life or something. And you try running and just every time you try to run, nothing happens and you just cannot. That's happened to me quite a bit on the NES version.
Yeah, I've just given up running entirely.
I'm just like, no, I just have to fight my way out of everything.
So I think after today, the next time I pull up my game, I'm probably going to equip some shields and try to get that going.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should probably do the same.
Like I said, because physical attacks are not just strength based, they're also like multi-hit based. Mm-hmm. You can reduce more damage with evasion than you can with defense.
Now I just feel like I'm like deep into Final Fantasy 13 again, where like you're doing like the secondary roles and maxing out that Crystarium, where you're like, well, Lightning's a really good sentinel because her evasion is so high that she doesn't take any damage because she's evading everything. I'm like, shit, I don't have the time to dump all the Christogen points into that.
So that'll be I think we're still probably early enough in the game. Like we're not even quite halfway yet, so like there's probably still time to get that stat up there, and because it like levels up more the more you have, it's probably one of those things that'll catch up relatively fast.
And I think this is another instance of just like why Final Fantasy II gets as bad of a rep as it does. I think this is something that you wouldn't necessarily even need to think about in like a future title. But it's something that's so like you said, it can be really overpowered and really essential. And it can be a thing that you never interact with at all. And it makes it that much harder without you even really knowing why.
Right.
So I think like when you actually know the systems and kind of what you need to do, it makes it more friendly, which is a big ask of a player base, especially now when there's so many different games. But I do find it really charming. And I think what they tried to accomplish with this and how different it was from the first Final Fantasy is really admirable and really, really interesting, especially because it's the foundation that laid the groundwork for future games and becoming like one of the best series of all time.
Yeah. I mean, if anything defines this game, it's ambitious, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It goes real hard.
Maybe the beaver will return.
Oh,
yeah, we gotta get those guys back.
Did somebody? I don't know if this is substantiated, but somebody in the Discord said that the beavers were the base for Moogles.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
they are.
That's kind of what I assumed, at least from the previous time we spoke. Which is, for the listener, it's been like weeks since we recorded the last episode. So
yeah.
I think I did mention these seem like the proto Moogles.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of the room in FF6 where you see all the Moogles. I was like, oh, this is the same thing. But I didn't know that like they literally were like that was the basis for the Moogles. That's interesting.
Interesting, indeed.
Speaking of like Final Fantasy creatures and them in this game, we talked a little bit last time about the Chocobo, and Curtis, you were saying how it like pops its head out of the grass.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that I saw when I was trying to get the Chocobo so that I could make it back to the Dreadnought was that if I was holding down the movement thing, the sprite stayed on the screen. So it was just some weird, I don't know if it was like a tech limitation that made it look like it was popping its head out. But if you're walking the entire time, you will see the Chocobo the entire time. It doesn't disappear.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I will test that out the next time I go to a Chocobo forest.
Yeah. No, it surprised me because I remember trying to find it, but I was just walking around and it was there the entire time. I was like, oh, nice. And then if I like stopped and stood still, then I would only see it for a couple of frames each time.
Okay.
Do you have to look for it in the Pixel Remaster? Because I did not remember having to look for it.
No. In the Pixel Remaster, it's just there the whole time. So
they made it easier for babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that is probably
This is
a decent place to leave it.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, we got our mission ahead of us. We can do some side quests early
We got a
by
ship.
accident, like I did in
Really?
Pixel Remaster.
Yeah,
I
a
did
lot of people go to the tropical island
yeah.
first for some reason. That seems to be like a common. And if at this point in the game, especially in Pixel Remaster, you're capable of fighting what's in there, even though it's a later game dungeon.
Really?
But you can't do anything.
I think I might have gone to Diced and couldn't figure out how to make any kind of progress. So then maybe actually no, because in my screenshots I'm just like Layla has joined the party, and then immediately I'm in the tropical island or whatever, and I was like, oh, okay. But like I get the loot that you get there, which is something that we don't need for a good while. So it wasn't really.
I guess we can talk about it briefly because I went straight for that little like I knew Diced was in the northeast, and I had to kind of go south anyway to get to that part of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already passing by the tropical ocean, or tropical island in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I think it's also like we have full agency now over the ocean, so we can kind of just go around anywhere that we haven't been on the map, which is, getting less and less of a thing now that we have the boat. So I was kind of just like looking around, and the enemies in the sea aren't too bad to deal with, especially in the Pixel Remaster.
Buccaneers.
So, yeah, so that's why I found my way there.
Okay.
Yeah, I found it's a cool little dungeon. I know in the Pixel Remaster, like it looks like in one level there's like vines hanging over.
Yeah.
Because it is just an island with a cave on it. That's pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah, but if you've gone there and you're following along with the podcast, you do not have to continue in there because that is something that will become apparent in a little bit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's a mandatory thing that we have to do for later on.
Interesting. Because I got pretty far in there and was able to buy some stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll come back to this.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that island. That's where I got my Scourge Tome.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe worth getting magicians drop that shit like it's candy, so.
Yeah.
Also, yes, thank you, B, for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm sorry I'm like super low energy because I've been sick, but
No,
I like
good.
too. I like talking about it, and I think you guys are a lot of fun. So
Thank you. Yeah, and if there's anything more you want to speak on, feel free. If there's any more stuff that you want to talk about that you didn't get to talk to about yet.
Honestly, I just wish people would give 2 a chance because I feel like every time Best Final Fantasy comes up, this argument always comes down to, 2's so bad. And I'm like, have you played it? Well, I played like 10 minutes and I like couldn't make it further than that because XYZ. And I'm like, well, then you haven't played the game. So you're just pooping on it because that's popular opinion.
I couldn't even beat those Black Knights in the beginning. This game sucks.
You're supposed to. Yeah, like you're supposed to. Wait, have you guys played the PS1 version?
I have not.
I have not.
Okay, so the PS1 version, don't play it, but if you do, it does have cool graphics with it. Like they gave like high def. I don't know high def is the right word, but like look up the YouTube PS1 intro because it makes the intro in 3D.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh nice. Oh yeah, I think that also happened on the PSP version that I was playing in Final Fantasy 1. So I can probably boot that up on my on my Vita. I'll have to check that out.
Was it Final Fantasy Origins 2 or whatever? They do like a full like FMV.
Yep. Here I got it.
I found it too. Wow.
Oh, whoa. This is awesome.
Man, my YouTube has been buffering like crazy lately.
This is 2003, right? This is like, this is...
Yeah, I like seeing Mateus and his long fingernails. He's very ahead of his time.
Nice.
Which, by the way, that's the other thing. I also just really like Mateus as a character. I know that we're not at that part, but you've seen little bits and pieces of him at this part. And I feel like he's, again, another one of those prototype characters. He's kind of the prototype for Kefka in a lot of ways, too.
Yeah. Also, the Amano art for Mateus is so sick. I mean, you can say that about literally anything that Amano draws.
True.
But especially, like, very, very, very cool looking.
Have we actually heard the name Mateus in the game yet?
I don't think so, no.
I think we've heard like the Emperor, right?
The Emperor,
but never
yeah.
Mateus at this point.
Oh my god, wait, is that Fury? I'm watching this right now, and I like if there's a character that just has white hair, but Furion has the
kerchief or thing on the top of his head or something.
Maybe he doesn't get the bandana until after.
That's when he truly became Furion Fantasy 2.
The bandana is a powerful look. It takes a lot of leveling up before you can get to that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, in this cutscene, he doesn't have it. That's a weird choice.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's supposed to imply that, like, because the version in the Pixel Remaster is based on the Amano art, which is like looks more kind of like an armor type of thing, like a really kind of ornate, beautiful. Which I don't think a bunch of just orphans would just be wearing that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So maybe it's supposed to be like a later game design.
Shoutouts to Al's Replay as well, who uploaded this video, where the names are Alan, Sandy with an I, Jimbo for Guy, and Jay for Leon, which is sick. I love Jimbo, dude.
God, I love seeing what people named their characters.
But yeah, that's Final Fantasy 2.
Well,
Yeah,
Alex,
we did it. We beat it.
Oh my gosh. What is... Sorry, I got to show you guys a screenshot of what they all look like, because I don't know what they did to Guy.
Oh, I know.
I'm excited.
Guy looks like a 45-year-old man. He looks like he grills.
He looks like he grills.
There you go. I posted it.
Yep.
Oh wow, look at those fellas.
I could see Guy like grilling up some like vegan burgers, because he's like, no, why would I cook like animals? Like, those are my homies. I talk to them.
Yeah.
Short hair Maria.
Yeah, this is a really cool.
It does look a little blurry. I'm not sure if this is AI upscaling or not.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, this FMV is sick.
It's actually really good.
It also, like, just seeing people like seeing the main characters just running through the city that's like on fire just very much reminds me of like the intro of like Resident Evil 2 or 3.
It actually reminds me of Legend of Dragoon in a lot of ways too.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Damn, man, they're going hard on these Dark Knights. That's sick.
Yeah, these early like ports were actually they seem pretty ambitious. Like I remember like playing Tactics, and the later versions have like those big also FMV intros as well.
Yeah,
that was really cool. It's wild.
That's sick.
Before Square Enix started getting too busy for that shit, and
yeah,
they're just like FF7 forever. Now I guess we got 16.
Yeah,
that's almost out, right?
It is.
Yeah. So maybe we'll talk about that someday.
Yeah.
Too many games, dude. Too many games coming.
Too many games.
Are you guys gonna play it right away, or are you gonna?
I don't have a PS5.
Oh, that's okay.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like I have to. I should probably do it and then let Curtis borrow my PS5.
I thought about buying a PS5 and then the game and then selling them both when I'm done, but I'm kind of like, fuck it, man. I'll just either borrow it or I'll just play it when it comes out on PC if it ever does.
They said that it will. It probably just won't be for like another year or so.
Yeah.
I'll just stream it all on Discord, Curtis, so you don't have to play it.
There we go.
We can just do a whole season talking about Carl's playthrough.
Yeah. Well, Alex, would you like to toss us into the engine of the Dreadnought, destroying it, and then making your way out in a cutscene?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. Thank you again, B, for coming on.
Thank you.
People, go follow B on Twitch, Eyesonbee. It's always just a hoot watching your whole stream. It's so wholesome and completely chaotic at the same time.
B, thank you for rating me that
you.
one time when I was when I was pooping.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I rated Curtis like a couple weeks ago, and it was a very large raid number. I don't remember how much, but it was
one of the biggest I've ever gotten.
Yeah. And
humble brag.
I was like, all right, well, hey guys, let's go say hello to Curtis. Curtis just literally went live, and the first thing I see in chat is Curtis being like, I'm in the middle of a poop.
Well, because sometimes I like to when I go use the bathroom before a stream or during a break, I just like to get on the Twitch app and be like, hey everybody, I'm pooping. And like I type in I was typing something like, oh, let me tell you, I'm struggling in here in the bathroom. This is a bad poop right now. And it's like B rated. And I'm like, oh no.
But I also am on YouTube under Eyesonbee. I'm trying to do a little bit more with that. Like I just recently interviewed Ben Starr, the voice of Clive.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I have not been able to post that. I cannot post it until the 22nd, but I'm excited to be able to share that. Trying
Cool,
to
so
get
that looks
into that kind of stuff more.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, and that's youtube.com/@Eyesonbee. Same way it's spelled on Twitch. YouTube recently introduced the handles, and it's still kind of weird to have an @ after a slash, but
Yeah.
I'm subscribing
I
to
went
you
ahead
right
and
now.
subscribed. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I am subscribe.
Yeah, I didn't even know that about the ats.
You have to subscribe. We subscribe. We all subscribe.
Yeah, I say subscribe as past tense. It feels
Yeah, I got to start
right.
doing that.
Subscribed. Oh, yes. Why am I not subscribed? Look at this. You're talking about Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Oh my gosh, do you have a video that is very exciting to me personally as a big mid fan, Final Fantasy V mid fan?
Yeah.
The history of mid. Let's go.
Yeah, I did, because when they revealed mid, I actually was really excited because I was like, oh my God, this is a Final Fantasy V reference.
I know. That's so exciting.
But there's so many other mids in the series, which is like, it sounds so funny. Like, it sounds like I'm calling them
It's funny to be
mediocre.
like, the series is so mid.
And that's what made it really hard to come up with a title for that, because I was like, oh. But yeah, no.
That's awesome.
I love mid.
I will keep an eye on that. But yeah, thank you for listening, listeners at home, in the car, with friends, with your dogs and your cats, your frogs.
Frogs.
Thank you to Neither Round for the theme music. Thank you to Nobu Uematsu for the game music. Thank you to The Gooch for the game.
The Gooch.
Thank you.
Be sure to rate, review, subscribe wherever you're listening to us. You can.
Thank you, Katase and the Gooch. Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much.
listening to Square Enix in the
Nasir.
morning with Katase and the Gooch.
You can drop us a line or a text at 530-MATERIA. And you can find us at every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And be sure to hop into our Discord. And as always, Trust and Podcast doesn't say much for the space you got between your ears.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. Thanks again, BD.